Welcome to the Love Change podcast. As you know, the topic this week is aging, and our format makes us come up with questions for the other person. And the promise is to be raw, uncut, honest, bold, taboo free.
Real.
Real. Really exciting episode about aging. Kay right here, if you're watching, if you're listening, you can't see it, but Kay right here is 39 years old, turning 40 soon.
Young.
39 years young.
As I might call it. Yeah.
And we were going through some pictures the other day, yesterday actually. You looked older.
10 years ago, I really looked older, which is funny.
Trippy. It's very trippy. I myself also always old-looking person, behaving like an old man. Nah, just joking. Pull up the questions, Kay. Let's get going on this episode.
All right. I'm going to read all of them.
Drop all the questions so people know what episode they're in for.
Cool. So the first one is, what do you enjoy about aging? Then what age do you miss being at? And where would you like to be and why, actually?
What age?
Yeah, what age?
Mm-hmm.
What are examples where you are confronted with being older? That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
What age are you looking forward to and why?
Yeah.
Then number 5, what age did you consider yourself a grown-up and how true was that in retro perspective? And the last one is, what is the biggest difference between you minus 10 years and plus 10 years?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Kick it off.
Yeah. May I start?
You want me to ask you? You want to ask?
Yeah, ask me.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about aging?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful question. I think most of all, I enjoy the serenity that you gain every year.
Mm-hmm.
To really observe, and whatever happens to you, not see it as the end of the world, literally. Because I think when you're young, whatever bad things happen, you're like, oh my gosh, the world is coming to an end. And the older you get, the more you just observe it. And you kind of like get this natural distance to the situation.
Would you call it distance to the situation?
Yeah, kind of.
I feel like what you're describing is like when you've been around the block a couple of times, like I would say, then you know, like, okay, worst thing scenario, we might get hurt.
Serenity, yeah. That's my definition of serenity.
I would say that as you get older, you just don't give a shit. I'm sorry, yeah. Like people worried about like how they look and what people think of them, and what if I get embarrassed here and there, and then like you grow up and then you're like, yo, all I care about is my family.
Yeah, you kind of like put things into perspective. If you think about what you have been like really crazy about when you've been younger, and now you think back and you're like, that was not even a problem. Come on, that's like nothing. The more you see, the more you kind of put things in their place in the big box of life.
That's what you enjoy most.
That's what I really enjoy about it. Things that I was stressing about in the past when I was younger.
Like what?
Yeah, like, I don't know, career-wise, to reach things or seek appreciation for people and stuff. Now I'm like, what the heck? It's not really what is relevant in life, really. Yeah.
That's a good thing to find with age.
Yeah.
And at what age did it hit you like that?
I think kind of the whole journey started 3 years ago, I guess. That's where we started to appreciate that and understand that, life is about the present moment, and stressing, just doesn't help. The more you see, the more you really see the bigger picture in life.
No?
Yeah.
Second question
is for you. What age do you miss being at and why?
The age that I miss being is, I think, a certain life phase that I didn't really get to experience. So not per se that I missed that period in my life, but I feel like I didn't get to live that period like you're supposed to. Is, yeah, I think between the ages of 6 and 10, like you're maybe even younger also.
Yeah.
Like when I was 4, my dad moved away from Iran, and then my mom was doing everything by herself.
Yeah.
And before that, they were also struggling to keep their head above water. And then when we got to Holland, also being a foreigner and my dad being really sick, kind of never been, that kind of stripped me from being worry free like you can be as a
Yeah.
kid, that you're just like playing and you're not.
I was about to say that, like really enjoying the kid time.
Yeah, that I never had it, so that's why I kind of like see it with other people, also grown ups, who are just like able to space out and just have a great time and like really, really be carefree. I think I'm able to be carefree nowadays, but it took me a whole detour to get there. And I get it, and I appreciate it. But if I could travel back in time, or not back in time, but back to an age, yeah, being a kid again, I guess that's the thing I would miss the most.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time. I agree.
And you also had your like moving places and spaces when you were
Yeah, but I was a
younger.
bit older. Well, basically, the first time my parents moved me, I think I was around 7, 8-ish.
Okay.
But that was just for half a year. We kind of tried and I go back, so I don't remember that much. But then when we moved, I was 11. That was quite, kind of like pulling me out of my environment and leaving friends behind, etc. It was hard on one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, you gotta like do everything to adapt into your new environment. So I really learned the language quickly.
That's what you do,
Yeah, but as a kid, you just go with the flow. That's the beauty of it.
No.
You really don't stick into, oh, it's so bad. No, you just move. You just move on.
Those stories you make up later.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Is there any age that you miss and wonder why?
Yeah.
I think realizing what it is, what vision you had of a certain time to think, oh, those were great days or great phases in life. And then realizing that you can recreate that. You don't have to be that age to feel a certain way.
That's true.
That's why when you ask me the question, like, what age do you miss? I also miss the days of just being in high school and my friends and just hanging with your friends all the time. Now that you're older, it's almost like a special occasion if I get to see my friends.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do see them often, so it's always a special occasion to see your friends. But then it would be just days on end of just always meet me at 7 at the basketball court and just the stories and just the nonsense of it all. There's so much nonsense. Like,
but it's beautiful how you said it, that you can recreate it, because you kind of like, the only thing that allows us to time travel, I feel, is memories. But then you can kind of really recreate it.
You cannot have the same moment again, but if you realize what it is that you're missing, you can reach out and recreate that. Definitely.
Yeah,
I do believe that.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
What's on the list?
What are examples where you are confronted with being older?
That one's for you, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, every year. Well, I think what I took for granted when I was younger is how easy you could recover. Especially drinking alcohol. Gosh, that really kicks in. That's super hard. If I don't get my rest, I'm completely useless. I remember in
the late nights
in uni, literally we started partying on Wednesday night. I think I had my first class at 8, so I slept maybe 3 hours. That was Thursday. Then Thursday night was the second party. I did the same for Friday. And I was bloody fresh. On Friday, I was still like, Friday afternoon, I was a bit sleepy, but then I had a power nap and I could go out again. Gosh, if I think...
A little bar tiger here.
Yeah, man, but if I would do that today again, no bloody way. Like, seriously, sleep became so important to get back what I lost.
No.
That's really something that I realized the older you get, the more you really need to just be cautious about it. It just doesn't, it's not something, you cannot take it for granted. But when you're young, you're just like, yeah, of course. Like having your cousin over on the weekend, I don't know, he slept just a couple hours and he was like fully awake and left the house super early again, etc., etc. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I had 2 beer last night. I gotta sleep a bit more.
Shout out to our silent admirer.
Yeah.
He's been watching all the episodes, knows what everything was been going on.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he said, right? I'm young right now. I can do this.
Yeah,
so I should
super
do
in the
it.
moment. Yeah,
I should do it. He was
beautiful.
drinking beers from 11 in the morning to 3.
And he drank like so many bottles.
Yeah, like a machine.
Yeah.
But that's where you get confronted. Alcohol confronts you with that, eh?
Definitely, yeah. Like staying up late and in combination with drinking, that's not doable anymore, really. If I don't get my rest, and it's not necessarily 8 hours, but I can also nap during the day, but I need a certain portion of recovery. That's just essential. I cannot function without.
I've been noticing that my body goes through cycles, though. Like I have had weeks that I wake up by myself before my alarm at 5:30.
Yeah.
And then that lasts for a week, and I'm like, yes, this is the new me. And then the next week, it's like I get barely like fighting my alarm at 7:30, 8. But at the same time, I definitely agree with alcohol being a great how upset it can make your stomach. That's for me, like I don't even get a hangover like that, or just like my stomach gets upset, so it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, for me it's really the hangover. It really is. Like the other day when we've been out and it was during like half of the day, I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 beers.
Yeah, the next day.
And I wasn't really drunk that day, but the next day I was just completely mushy, like completely just completely spaced out, not usable for anything. So that's
I think that's also one of the reasons I developed the energy management compass. Is like as you're aging, sleep on time.
Yeah.
If you sleep too late, still you're gonna feel horrible. You need that sleep on time. You need that rest on time. You need to lie down after you ate a big meal and go for a walk. You cannot spend 10 hours behind your computer screen. I remember the work spurts I would have, like, okay, design atelier, like you have 3 months to make the project, do it all in 1 week.
Absolutely.
Sit down, 20-hour days, boom, 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 very little sleep.
Yeah.
No movement, no fresh air, maybe a pack of cigarettes and like a whole bunch of coffee. And
and just like snack
on
the
crap,
go.
Crap, eat crap. Really realizing how important.
That's true. That's also the second thing. If
working, I think alcohol is one thing, but like performing, that's what true. I also like. I could always turn on the switch and just go for 4 or 5 days, like laser focus, and then now I have to like grab my moments in the morning and have a little break and rest and like
almost a schedule kind of thing that you really need to
rhythm.
To realize
it's a different rhythm. That's what I realize most is like the youth. I like the Japanese manga cartoons that I watch, Naruto and stuff. They like youth has a certain bravery because the energy is like plentiful. It's like abundant. It's like
abundant. Yeah.
Like fall down the stairs, get up, laugh, and just like do it again.
That's true.
You know, you don't care. It's there, and here you're like, oh, my hip,
my leg, my back.
I cycled a bit. My back hurts. I need physiotherapy. Just an example.
Meaning someone particular.
Very unrelated example.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it's really important to realize where you're at on that energy chart and what impacts your energy mucho.
Yeah.
I got to drop a little promo. If you're interested in this
Yes.
energy management compass, comment EMC in this link. I'll send you a way to download your free copy of the energy management compass. And Monday, 10th of August, live webinar
Yeah.
introducing you to the energy management compass. Join.amormuto.com. Check it out. Check it out.
It's really worth it. This man has been working on it super hard the last weeks, and getting his head around it is really beautiful to see what he can create.
Last few years, but
yeah, but the last couple weeks is like
we're in publishing
really,
mode now.
Yeah,
It's coming to life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think as you grow older, you also grow wiser. So doing more while taking less effort's definitely a possibility. I'm doing it. If I look at how little I have to do really to have my stuff in order and still make progress, it's amazing if I compare it with back in the day, like how much grinding it took. Yeah, really. And now you're like more focused on sharpening the blade.
Yeah, you kind of like see the bird's perspective on things. And you're like, what is really important? What do I need to?
The value of zooming out and realizing that you can be efficient if you know where you're addressing what. And to be in such an efficient cycle, you need a little recovery cycle in which you do something that's freeing you, reloading you, but also engaging your perspective on where you're at, what you're doing.
Yeah, because in the past you would just push harder. That's what I was doing. When I would feel I'm losing focus, I'd be like, come on, get another coffee, push harder. That's not how it works. If you really just like play for a couple minutes, get out, and then get back, you're super fresh. So yeah.
What's next? What we got?
My question for you, what age are you looking forward to and why?
What age am I looking forward to and why?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I remember when I was 20 or something, I would never even think about turning 30. Like, yeah, that's too old for me. I'm not gonna make it that old. So breaking my neck at 25 really tested that resolve. And now that I'm 20, after that 33, I'm 33 now. I'm kind of looking forward to my next life phase. Like, I'm enjoying the current life phase. I'm building something that I've been working on here in Holland, and I don't know what age that's going to be, but my next life phase is establishing a life abroad, and I think it's going to be somewhere between 35 and 37.
I think so too.
I don't know. It's a hard question to answer, but I guess my next life phase, I'm really excited to start that, but really feel like I need to feel the finish of my current life phase. Like, finishing my last life phase was getting my degree, closing off all the things I had going on before my accident, exiting the yoga business, selling my shares, and basically announcing a sabbatical for myself. And that was a life phase on its own. A very confusing, in search of processing and almost writing the book, really processing all the emotions I was suppressing, and also developing the foundation of what I'm publishing now, the energy management compass. So that's this phase. And then the next phase is like branching out, maybe settling, all those things. I think that's really exciting.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. I think that's my answer.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
What age did you consider yourself a grown-up, and how true was that? That's a question for me. I love that question.
What age did you consider yourself a grown-up?
Yeah, I think since I turned 21, every year I was like, wow, I'm such a grown-up. got my life together, etc.,
Since you were
etc.
21, you
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like you were
Since
grown up?
21, I was like, wow, like every year felt like exponential journey into growing up and being an adult. And at
Okay.
some point, I think somewhere around 26, 27, I was like, this is bullshit.
Okay.
This is just like, yeah, you gain so much every year, but I don't really feel like you're grown up. Like outside, on the outside, and in
Mm,
your mind, you are, but inside, you kind of always keep this kiddo
that's a good
in
thing.
you. At least that's what I feel. So it's like, yeah, something ages and you become authority, etc. You cannot just, I don't know, play as a kid. You can, but it's just different. And I kind of, yeah, I think somewhere mid and 20s, I was like, you just, something changes in you, but it doesn't make you more grown up. It's just like more insight,
Hmm.
more
And what would
understanding.
you say then? What it means to be a grown up?
Oh, that's a question.
That's a question.
What it means to be a grown up, I can't even reply. Can you? What
I'm
it
just
means
asking
to.
for would you define being a grown up? So you're
I
explaining to
think
me
if
that you
you.
had some type of
Yeah, I
definition
think if you
which you
super.
believed you achieved, and then you realize no, it's not it.
Yeah, I think if you're super young, you kind of like, you consider yourself a grown up when you finish school and you're like, yeah, now all the doors are open. So that's when my first grown up moment came to life.
Mm.
I was like, I got my A levels and I can study whatever I want to. I can decide. I can move abroad. I can do everything. That was my first of like, here I am, a grown up, properly educated grown up. The world is mine to be conquered. So yeah, that's somehow, but
No Al Pacino, Scarface moment.
yeah, I think it's
World's
just
my
like
oyster.
the beauty is just like you change. Like right now, I'm 39 and my life changed 2 years ago massively. And then it's a different grown up phase. It's a different phase, as you said it
Mm.
earlier. And that's just, I think it's nice to see that perspective at some point and be like, what is the phase I'm in, rather to be like, oh, am I grown up and how
Mm.
much more grown up am I now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add something to that.
Tell me.
I think for me, what really shifted everything was really reflecting on my life. Like, I really wanted to retire before I was 30.
Which I love.
Then I broke my neck at 25, was in rehab for a year, still had to finish my 2 master degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and I was stressing myself out, and then worked really hard. Was able to achieve my dream to be like financially independent at the age of 30. Then I started working super hard even more because I was like, whoa, no, now I don't know what to do. Let me just partner with a bunch of like collapsing companies,
Mm-hmm.
burn a bunch of money and time, burn myself out. And then broke my leg, pressed pause, went and reflected. Of course, wrote the book, developed the compass, but really as an entrepreneur, but also as a human, zoomed out and like, it's like, okay, so like life is about phases. You decide what phase in life you want next. Maybe you didn't decide what current phase you are in now, but every phase is a beginning and an end, and you decide whether you want to drag the last phase along with you forever or not.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to open up for new phases, also realizing from an entrepreneurial perspective that like the economy is like a big machine, and it's like the gears in the machine with the chains, they are uh, they experience friction and stress, and they wear out, and they get replaced. But those are people. So if you choose a path in life for a career, or you see something you like, you got to realize part of what machine you're going to become, what cog or what wheel or what gear, and yeah, where you are in like the bigger scheme of things, and realize like, okay, that might be a really interesting, fancy career, but that has like huge burnout rates, huge divorce rates. That's not a happy life.
Yeah.
I care about having a good bank statement, but I also care about life, and also realizing that that's what I found beautiful. Like a lot of people that I see rising, which I love, I admire. They don't see it from the picture of the perspective of leadership, who is tired. They've been doing that forever, and they just want young dogs to run what needs to be ran. And everybody who gets offered a position to step up, I'm like, what are you signing up for? And then they drop the euros or the dollars, this amount per year. I'm like, okay, and what do you have to give for that? What does that cost you? And then, okay, 60, 70 hours per week minimum, travel time, etc. I'm like, okay, so that's like 2/3 of your life energy is the trade that you're making, and that's amazing. It's a good trade. Realize it.
Yeah.
That if you make that trade for 10 years, you're like a squeezed lemon. Like they're gonna grab a new lemon.
Exactly.
And they don't care about that squeezed lemon and what happens to it afterwards. Like you've been through that, you've been on the rise, you've seen it, you've done it to the point you're like, can't do this anymore. Don't want to do this anymore. If I can, but I don't want to. And then 2 months later, somebody new took your position. The company keeps going.
Yeah. I think what we also forget is to like parallelly line up those things. It's like all about career, but we forget life. We forget partnership. Not everybody, but
watching
I
your
think
kids
it's,
grow up.
Exactly. Like the guys I was working with, most of them were like, yeah, I don't see my kids. I don't see my wife. I come home, the kids are in bed. Like traveling so much, like really forgetting. And then at some point might be that they get confronted with wife filing in for divorce and like literally not having a connection with your partner anymore. I mean, that's what I experienced as well. I was traveling like crazy. And at some point I was just like, I don't know that man that sleeps next to me in my bed.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this guy? It's just so you really have to, you have to really be cautious what you sign up for. And there's nothing wrong about it if you do it for 10 years and you squeeze lemon afterwards. But if you have your bank account and your ducks in a row afterwards, that's fine. Maybe that's where you want to get. But to see that perspective, zoom out and see the bigger picture of what the life phase means and what you're trading in, that's the good thing to look at.
Yeah, I think for me, because I joined so many unsuccessful businesses and like started so many things that didn't continue or not alive today. Those are big blows to take, and also with relationships, literally the ability to stand back and zoom out, like look at yourself at a distance. I think that's something that you as a human have that capability to do that from a very young age.
But we seldomly do it.
Makes me wonder why. I've done it many moments in my life, and many moments in my life I've abandoned it. Making it a habit, that's definitely something that I was happy to integrate in the model, and like be like, hey, if you want to have like sustainable performance and realize where you are in your life phase in the cycle of change, you don't do that like at the beginning of your year making a life vision or a year vision or whatever. It's a constant awareness of you in time and space in your life. That's a great exercise and a great muscle to have in shape, What do we have left?
What is the biggest difference between you in minus 10 years and you plus 10 years?
So you at the age of 29 between...
Oh, that's a question for me? It's actually a question for you.
Oh, it's for me? Okay. We'll go both ways. You go first.
I go first?
Yeah.
What is the difference between me with 29? Yeah.
39. What's the biggest?
29. Bold as fuck.
Bold.
Yeah. Being promoted a year earlier. Youngest head of at the company I was working at.
Go, boss. They told you to flex it.
No, it's the point is like I was thinking I'm on top of the world, and at some point I was at this age, but
Oh.
I thought this is just gonna stay forever. It's not gonna change.
You thought
And
that
yeah,
when you were 29?
yeah.
What made you think that?
I was just thinking it's gonna go exponentially up, just as it started, and to
You
like
had a
disability.
sea level position in mind
Yeah,
at the age
kind
of
of. Yeah,
29. Like, oh,
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
want to be at sea level.
and to yeah, that was really like that was the thing to go. Which, however, but this was the thing to go. That was like basically that's where I see myself. If someone would ask, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" I'd be like sea level, mid 30 plus.
And now we are here.
And
at
now
the-
here we are. Couldn't be happier. And that's the beauty of life. So yeah, what's the biggest difference? I think I really disregarded the roots of rest and recovery and took many, many things for granted. Now I understand and am more wiser. That's where I am now. And reflecting
Wiser
and
how?
zooming out. Yeah, I think I learned the hard way with the burnout that really made me knee down and understand that there are barriers.
Earlier today, you were saying like you got upset about not having the mindset that you have now earlier.
Yeah, because now I'm wise. Now I'm smart. Now, like being 29 and having the mindset today, I'd be like, girl, focus, sharpen your saw, pick your battles, and do the stuff that is really important and
And what is
urgent,
that?
not the other crap. Yeah, like leave certain positions, maybe leave some jobs, move on. Not like grind at some point and be like, yeah, I gotta just do harder. No, sometimes you just need rest. I didn't understand this correlation of things. I was just like, yeah, you gotta. I mean, I was really, at some point, I was really just tired and I was like, yeah, you just gotta push harder. This is bullshit. But I didn't understand. So knowing now how easily you can recover, and if you really understand this concept, it makes life so much better. So that's where I got a bit upset today, saying like, yeah, if I would have had the knowledge 10 years ago, I probably would have been at sea level mid 30.
So you're
Easily.
less bold now?
I'm less bold. I'm more laid back,
Okay.
but like laid back with the knowledge and wisdom of having all of that. When I see people really pushing hard and being like, this is what I want to achieve in life, like stating their life list, I'm like, yeah.
Have fun with that.
Have fun with that. See where life is going to take you. Because that's also something that you gotta go through to understand. You know, if you imagine this is the perfect life and this is exactly where I want to be, wait until life teaches you something else. That's something that is really wonderful.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah.
Seriously. Like, if someone would have told me 10 years ago, this is where I'm going to be, I'd be like, what? Never.
Oh?
And now I'm like, cool, that's a good place to be. Thanks, life. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
How
That's
about
nice.
you?
10 years ago?
Yeah. You can pick one.
Me, 10 years ago or 10 years forward? Which one?
Whatever you like. I would like to hear both.
23. At the age of 23, I was a very well-oiled, unstoppable machine.
That's no surprise.
Yeah. A very well-guided missile. I was... at a certain age, I realized that I was running away from a whole bunch of stuff very hard. And then at the age of 23, I think I was really busy running towards something, which I didn't know what it was, but I was really curiosity driven, learning and growing. I think I was way more of a outsider. I would not try to nest in communities as much as I'm doing now. I like the lone wolf
Fits you.
lifestyle.
Kind of play by your own rules.
I never stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I guess the biggest difference between then and now is that Yeah, I almost don't see a difference. Almost no difference.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm still fierce in how I show up, and
Yeah.
I think,
Bold.
yeah, and I think the biggest change is my rainbow project, the stuff that I'm doing with the energy management compass is to allow emotions. I think I had more baggage then, you know. I was still carrying a lot of weight of the past.
And at the same time suppressing. Caring but suppressing.
Definitely suppressing,
Yeah.
yeah, not showing it. And like 2 years later at 25, the bag got heavier, and I kept suppressing that. And then nowadays, it's really my objective to, yeah, lean into that abundance of how many connections you can create when you share your emotions, that you share your fears or your doubts. And I, I did not know what I was afraid of at that age. There was nothing that I could think of that I would fear.
That's a statement.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, I think that's nowadays. If I would say, what do I fear today? I fear having gone through all of this for nothing. You know, my ass
Yeah.
has been kicked so hard by life; it really hurts.
Yeah.
So I really had found the purpose of why. I think I have found the purpose of why I had to go through all this. So I'm trying to make of it something that other people can use and implement, and like not try to swim against the flow so much, but let the flow carry you and just enjoy the river. But I don't know if it's true. So if I, I'm afraid that it doesn't like turn out that way, and you're like, yeah, go home, come up with something new. Yeah.
Yeah, I think not knowing you 10 years ago, obviously, but you feel calm, collected, and reflecting. That's how you feel. And I think like only seeing pictures and videos from the past, it's like that's definitely haven't been there.
No,
No.
I wasn't calm or collected.
No, I think you have been really grinding. And now you really have this ability to just really like zoom out, look at it.
That's true. I think I was very my primary energy source was anger. I guess
That's a good way to reflect.
The conflict I had with thinking my life wasn't fair, the things I had to experience in growing up, instead of being able to cry or just express that emotionally, I bottled it up, and that rage was my energy source. And it's a very hot
strong.
inferno, but it also burns you.
Yeah.
So there is.
It's kind of self-destructive also.
Yeah, that was basically the thing.
Right.
Yeah, just do it over again, and then push it too far, burn up, crash, deny the learning cycle, and just do it again. Just deny the learning cycle. Right now, every time I burn, I'm like, okay, we got to learn because we don't want to burn. And
got to do some homework and understand what.
Really reflecting. Yeah, I think reflecting is a good one instead of pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I meet resistance nowadays, I reflect. Well, in the past, resistance meant push.
Yeah.
That's a great observation.
Observation, yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, and 10 years from now, then I'll be 43.
I'll be 49.
Oh. 10 years from now.
Oh my gosh.
And the year will be 2030.
Man.
Predictions for 2030 right here. I said it first.
I love it. Just love it.
I will have a robot dog that makes me lazy as hell.
I don't want to have a robot dog.
I'll have a real dog that just does what he wants. And chills and plays. And the robot dog gets me a drink and stuff. I
Okay.
think difference between now and 10 years is that I've never really had the opportunity to uh, test my leadership, and I'm starting to do it now. And I think within now and 10 years, I think that myself as a, whether it's a thought or habit or whatever leader of, not per se leader, but facilitator of a community.
I
Right
think
now,
you can keep the word leader.
yeah, I don't know.
I
I
do.
don't know. I think that's the biggest difference between now and 10 years. Like preferably now and 2 years, but like you also want to live, and
Yeah.
things take time. Rome wasn't built in one day, and yeah, hopefully also even better in. Yeah, I just count the days of how many days I'm able to keep flow. Like how many hours can you keep flow in a day?
Mhm.
How much of it is like coincidence and the stars and the moon, and how much of it is your habits and your awareness of where you're at in your body and as you're doing energy wise.
That's beautiful.
And that's since I've been implementing the energy management compass that's been on the up. But it's I think 10 years from now, I think I think I'll radiate a different level of energy, definitely. How about you? 10 years from now, 49?
49. Hopefully, I'll be pretty gray by then, which I think is going to look pretty cool.
You hope to be gray by
Yeah,
49?
I think that would be pretty nice. But apart from that, I think standing for something really large in terms of inspiring people, making an impact, being on a journey, supporting people to grow, inspiring, that kind of stuff. However, that might look like. I think that's something that I really loved working in corporates, to really inspire people and empower them, make them believe in themselves and give them all the opportunity, responsibility. And I think that's something that I would love to create again, this environment, however the product or whatever service looks like. But this mindset to get this back with the wisdom I have, that's something really beautiful.
Yeah, and this time play by your own rules.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of always did, but it never.
Oh, well, you had the corporate and like whatever board.
Restraint.
Yeah.
In some sense. And to really, I think if there is something that I really want to see is to inspire people to, yeah, live by their own rules as well and just choose for the life they want to live. And this is something that I really want to see coming to life. Not in 10 years. It's more like ASAP. But in 10 years, it's going to be large. That's what I want to see.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, amen to that.
So, yeah.
Wow. In case you missed it, we have a job opening. We're looking for some help to multiply some content.
Yes.
We've been bombarding everybody on social media with stories and TV, and I don't know what's wisdom. I think we need somebody who is not only
hungry and foolish.
Yeah, but also wise and reflective. Yeah. So like you shouldn't be afraid to try stuff, but reflecting and iterating. Yeah. Helping us gain traction.
With the punches.
Yeah, helping us gain traction, expand the audience. If you think of somebody who is aligned with the podcast, has the skill set and the matching life phase, so we can hook up. Yeah. Drop us a line. Share your takeaways. Yeah. Today's episode, how you deal with aging.
Definitely, just record your best outtake and post it so we can reach more people.
I almost feel like when we were talking about this aging, we should have talked it about turning 30.
Yeah, I had that thought somewhere along the way.
Maybe another time. We're gonna put it on Bookshelf, we'll
just-
come back to it.
Yeah, you think so?
You want to do it next week, turning 30?
You would make a whole episode out of it? Yeah, maybe.
I think it's a big thing for a lot of people turning 30.
Gosh,
It's
it
like
is.
a mental situation. Like
Threshold.
quarter life
trespass.
crisis.
Yeah,
All these things. And
Yeah.
this episode stayed away from that.
that's true.
But I got some great insights. Got to know you a little bit better.
Likewise.
And learned to prepare my Facebook stream better. So that's it for today.
All right.
Love Change out. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks a lot,
Ciao.
guys.